What's going on, everybody? It's a Saturday afternoon. Welcome to a valued conversation, your next spoken word. So what we're going to do right now is take some time out real fast to check out some commentary that Anthony Mackey left here recently regarding him raising his boys. He also talked about the role of Captain America, but most importantly, what brings us here is his perspective on what he considers to be the death of the American male and the death of masculinity, right? Fair use, fair use.
I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I don't give a I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, you know, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up. I love that. Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he gotta be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing. You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. So you gotta have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different. You feel it when you go to Europe. Like you see these, and you're like, could bust your ass, boy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair use, fair use. Yeah, so man, that was hyperbolic as anything. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Let's get the small stuff out of the way. Yes, I think he's a good father. Right, he's making sure that his young men at the house are taking care of things, making sure that they are following his guidance as a parent. I believe his parental style is authoritative, not authoritarian. So authoritative meaning that if discipline needs to be dispensed, or if you want to ensure that that everything is being adhered to in a manner that does not conflict with parental styles between the mother and the father, to where they can both agree that if the kids are wrong, we let them know they're wrong. If there's a level of punishment that occurs, it should be the right degree for the right instance for the right particular offense. You know, that type of thing. But yes, I see him as being a good parent. Now, where I kind of vary from this is the statement of the death of the American male and masculinity being killed in the communities. That is, again, as I said, hyperbolic, because if there was a death of masculinity, then we wouldn't have any kids here over the last 20 years that we've seen. We wouldn't have Generation Y. We wouldn't have Generation Z. Now, is he talking about masculinity as far as not the act of being a man and, you know, having sex, but are we talking about how a man is respected, how a man is able to portray the actions of a man? So there was no real parameter put on that. So it was all over the place. But ideally, I'll say this. The statement that he made is something that you would hear that would align more closely with far right, alt right, or conservative mind space when you talk about masculinity. The concept is that, oh, masculinity is under a threat. We need to save masculinity. And that is a farce for the most part, all right? I won't say that masculinity is dead. I will instead say that masculinity is unappreciated in certain areas. But I don't see this as being a global concept, or let's just focus on America. Inside of America, I don't see masculinity as being dead. If anything, you get more flack of being toxic as a man if you are to make particular statements such as, How is it as a man if I make a statement about your weight as a woman? I'm going to get browbeat to death. But as a woman, you can make a statement about a man's weight and it's accepted. All right, this is the case. This is true. This is a standard that has been out here for 30 or 40 years. Whereas women can look at some of the failings of men, make a conversation about it, and it's okay because it's been normalized. You can say that a man is past his prime as a woman. You can say that a man's physical conditioning, oh, he needs to do better. You can say that. But as a man, if you say a woman is past her prime, or you critique her on anything about her appearance, now we're shaming. So there is that difference right there. There is that standard. But ideally, the red pill commentary is what's got things pretty much spun up right about now. Now, I will say that the red pill that we see being dispensed by, let's say, Andrew Tate for the most part, we'll just use him right now. Just the rhetoric from him. We're talking extremism, we're talking misogyny, we're talking pickup artists, we're talking incel subculture. This is that bastardized red pill that we see in effect nowadays. Now, I consider myself to be OC red pill, which is original concept, whereas red pill was intended to look at the status quo as it was and to make people aware of certain things that we just accepted and said nothing about and just moved on. Primary example. When people started saying about 15 or 20 years ago, racism is no longer a problem. We don't have to worry about racism. That is so far from being true. But we saw that when we had BLM, Black Lives Matter, that came onto the scene in the mid 2014, 2015 timeframe to highlight what issues that we were dealing with when it came to the killings of blacks by law enforcement. You saw other aspects of red pill that brought about the Me Too movement. Now, when I say brought about red pill, I'm not talking about the way that it's dispensed right now. I'm talking about the original concept where one would be able to look at certain things that were allowed to continue, such as in Hollywood, they spoke of the casting couch, certain actions that female actors would go through to get roles. But when that harsh reality of what was really going on was brought forward, we saw that there was action taken against that, social justice, so to speak. But that was the original concept of red pill. But somewhere along the way, because someone did not take a hold of the concept when it first came out, red pill went from being a tool to get status quo, to recognize that there were certain aspects of society that we needed to readdress and take a more realistic approach to. It then became a tool that was used to browbeat women across the head specifically and continually. That was not the intent of red pill. Red pill was just an awareness. Here's the blue pill. This is what reality is like, where everyone is calm, lulled into sleep. This is the red pill, where you actually take this and you wake up and you actually see society for what it is. That was the intent of it. That's all that it was expected to be. This thing of death of masculinity, the death of the male, that again is hyperbolic rhetoric that has been introduced into red pill, to whereas now red pill has been co-opted and it's been hijacked, right? It is bastardized to the nth degree, to whereas now ownership of red pill, that is, instead of focusing on the ills or the Walking Dead attitude of status quo, ignoring certain things, normalizing certain actions that people have not taken action against. We have now seen red pill be commandeered and put into one space, and that has been alt-right, conservative, male rhetoric. That's what you're seeing. Whether the man is black or white, we have red pill that has been co-opted and now stands for something that you can't even make a statement about because it's associated with this particular circle. But that in itself is a different conversation. But ultimately, that's where Mackey's conversation is coming from. Men are not dying per se in the sense that he put it out. When I say men are not dying, meaning that masculinity has not gone anywhere. Men are still here. Now, Is there a truth in that there are men who use red pill in a manner that appears abusive and also browbeating of women? Yes. The accountability of women, in a sense, all right, in a sense, has not really been focused on in the last 30 or 40 years, because a lot of the commentary, as I made before, you can talk about a man's weight, you can talk about a man's money, you can talk about, his willing, you can talk about his money. That's okay. That's within fair game. But for a man to say that about a woman, there's a different type of standard that ends up in a lot of crosstalk conversation. And then the words of shaming and abuse come along with that. Now, two things can be right. Is there a level of accountability that red pill was trying to address with women? Yes. But also, is red pill the original concept of red pill? If it's utilized, can it also bring about an understanding that status quo, in particular, there have been some things we've normalized that need to have a look at, and reality needs to be reassessed? Yes. But you cannot do that in today's environment if we look at red pill being the way that it is. So again, Mackey was being hyperbolic. Do I feel that he misused the expression of masculinity being dead and being killed in the community? Oh, yes. No doubt about it. But again, you're going to have to listen to the others around you and see how they take that comment. This is mine as well. My comment is that he misattributed his comments based upon the way that red pill is being dispersed in the ether right now. All right, so no, I am not with the way that he phrased that. However, I do see that he is a good father based on what I'm hearing. And last but not least, when he talks about masculinity in America versus Europe or the United Kingdom, the United Kingdom, yes, we are hyper masculine in the United States. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. Now, I don't condone that. I don't stand with that, but I will make the statement because I do see it. Am I what you would call a supporter of red pill as it is right now? Absolutely not. As I said before, I consider myself to be OC red pill, meaning original concept. Take a look at the status quo, recognize that there are things wrong, and realize that we could make changes based upon being genuine about it. And therefore being genuine, meaning that we can take a realistic look and recognize that, okay, this should not be this way. Let's make the change and let's do this here. That is what red pill was intended to be. So in short, Mackey, you're a good dad, man. What I'm hearing is kids taking care of the house, taking care of each other, making sure that moms are taken care of when you're not there. Only thing I would say, man, is that looking at it from the perspective of calling your 15-year-old the man of the house, I can get the, you can get the analogy. Okay, dad's not here. But ultimately, he's still going to be backing up mom because she is the adult. She is the one who takes care of the children, although there's nothing that says the children cannot contribute. But saying that a young man is the man of the house, again, even that can be hyperbolic to some folks. But we all get what's being stated here, is that dad's not here, so the next oldest child, if it's male child, make sure that you keep things straight, but check in with me for the most part. Mom is still running things, don't get that wrong, but he's just doing his part to make sure things stay straight because Pop's not around. Good deal all around, all right? So with that being said, let me say right now, find somebody who knows somebody to tell somebody about what's going on right here. If you like it, let me know. Share it if you do. And subscribe if this is something that you're looking for, all right? So I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Enjoy the replay. Don Henry out.